Jeff Bezos, his brother Mark, and 2 unnamed people, at least one of whom is a multimillionaire, are about to place their lives in the hands of Blue Origin's rocket engineers. Bezos, who founded the company in 2000, announced that he and his brother would be the first passengers in its New Shepard rocket and the highest bidder for the 3rd seat. The as-yet-unnamed winner of that auction bid of $28 million to go on the trip, the money will go to Blue Origin's foundation, Club for the Future. A 4th person will join them as well. The company conducted more than a dozen test flights with no one on board at Blue Origin's facilities in rural Texas, about 70 miles from Marfa. New Shepard has flown successfully before, 15 times, but never with humans on board. The rocket has a good test flight record, and it features an emergency system that can jettison the passenger capsule away from a failing rocket. Plus, the whole trip is only about 11 minutes long. At the same time, however, Bezos will fly with no pilot and probably no spacesuit, and no matter how safe New Shepard is, spaceflight is always risky. According to an analysis published earlier this year, about 1% of US human spaceflights have resulted in a fatal accident. That's pretty high, and about 10,000 times more dangerous than flying on a commercial airliner. If all goes according to plan on the day of Bezos' flight, here's what it will look like. The New Shepard rocket will fire its engines, spewing flame and smoke across the plains of West Texas. As it screams through the atmosphere, the force of the climb and the pull of Earth's gravity, which will feel 3 times stronger than normal, will pin the Bezos brothers and their guest into their seats. After 3 minutes, the rocket should separate from the capsule and fall back to Earth. The passengers will feel weightlessness as they start to fall back down. Bezos and his companions will have just about 3 minutes. During that time, they can unbuckle and float around in the cabin, drifting from one window to another to savor the views of Earth on one side of the spaceship and the blackness of space on the other. As the spaceship begins to fall back to Earth, Bezos and his co-passengers will strap in for a high-speed plunge. They will likely feel a significant jerk as 3 parachutes balloon into the air to break the spaceship's fall. The parachute should carry the capsule to a gentle landing in the Texas desert, where recovery crew will be waiting. This type of flight is referred to as suborbital, since the capsule won't enter an actual orbit around Earth. Blue Origin designed and built New Shepard specifically to carry high-paying customers to the edge of space. The rocket is just too small, and its engines don't have enough thrust to push itself all the way into orbit. If Bezos' flights go well, the new launch system could look more attractive to future space tourists. The most nail-biting parts of this spaceflight will probably be when the engines burn for liftoff, when the rocket separates from the capsule, and when the parachutes deploy. If a parachute fails to deploy, the capsule is designed to give more thrust to its downward-facing engine to help it land safely. If 2 chutes fail, its crushable bumper section at the bottom of the capsule should absorb the impact of the landing. Ever since the Challenger disaster in 1986, when the space shuttle broke apart during launch, killing all 7 crew members, all NASA astronauts have worn pressurized spacesuits for launch and landing. Spacesuits would not have saved those on board Challenger, but they could save lives if a space capsule experiences a cabin leak yet remains intact. Blue Origin's website, however, indicates that New Shepard passengers will wear only a jumpsuit, not a pressurized spacesuit and helmet. According to CNN, there are oxygen masks in the capsule, much like on an airplane, in case the cabin becomes depressurized. The company has not specified what Bezos or his companions will wear, however. In the case of New Shepard, the chance of a cabin leak is very small, so the decision to wear a spacesuit or not depends mostly on the design of the capsule. If it has especially thick skin and strong windows, and if its systems can accommodate hiccups and the technical errors without endangering the passengers, then flying without a spacesuit could be safe. When it comes to flying tourists, it may be even better to skip the spacesuit, since first-time flyers often throw up during launch or landing. Fully automated flight. That's not necessarily more risky than a rocket that requires a pilot, as long as the passengers are properly trained on what to do in an emergency. Still, this fully automated launch system is relatively new, and lots of things can go wrong during early flights. Rocket failures can often be traced back to small errors across all kinds of hardware and software. It is rocket science after all. In addition to New Shepard, Blue Origin is also working to develop a towering rocket called New Glenn, which the company hopes will be used to send US government and commercial satellites to orbit and potentially make trips to deep space. Blue Origin also hoped to be involved in NASA's plan to return humans to the moon by 2024, though it was bested by SpaceX for a contract to build the lunar lander that would shuttle astronauts from the moon's orbit down to the surface. Blue Origin is protesting that contract decision, though NASA has already said that Blue Origin is still eligible to bid to work on future lunar missions. Bezos has called Blue Origin the most important work I'm doing, though he has not previously been open about whether he personally would like to travel to space. But we think this trip might make it pretty clear. Next time on DiscoverZen, we will be discussing SpaceX versus Blue Origin. Who will win the space race? Thank you so much for watching our video. If you liked what you saw, please click that like and subscribe button. Let us know in the comments below what you thought of today's video and would you like to travel to space? Until next time.